Hi, today I'm going to review the Honors Calculus with Applications Unit 8 Implicit Differentiation, page 17, or 16 and 17. I'm going to start with page 16. And we're going to begin with the very first section. The first section is to find the derivative for the following explicit equations. Need to remember that explicit means solve for a variable. An explicit function means solve for a variable, and it's usually solve for y. So number one, it says find dy dx. That means find the derivative of y equals ln, the natural log of 3x squared minus 4x. Okay, to find the derivative of this, you have to use the chain rule because we have a function inside of a function. So chain rule means find the derivative of the inside times the derivative of the outside. So the derivative of the inside of this function, or first of all, the derivative of y is dy dx, which is what we're trying to solve for. Okay, derivative of the inside is 3x minus 4. And since that's a binomial, I'm going to put that in the parentheses. Okay, derivative of the outside, that means derivative of natural log. So natural log, when you take the derivative of natural log, all you do is write 1 over. So derivative of the inside times derivative of the outside. So if you want to put it together, you get the derivative is 6x minus 4 over 3x squared minus 4x. And that's it. Okay, now let's look at number 2. For number 2, we have y equals e to the 3x squared over 3x squared. And since this is a fraction, we're dividing, use the quotient rule. Which is f prime g minus f g prime over g squared. And so we need f and g. So the numerator is going to be f, and the denominator is going to be g. So we take the derivative of the numerator, so that's chain rule. Derivative of the inside is 6x times the derivative of the outside. That's our favorite one. It's just the same thing. Okay, now we have to do the derivative of g, the denominator. So we just get 6x. Okay, now what we're going to do is plug it into the quotient rule. So f prime is 6x e to the 3x squared times g minus f times g prime all over g squared. And that's the derivative. And I'm not requiring you to simplify. You can if you want, but I'm fine if you leave it like that. Okay, now let's look at number 3. So number 3, we get y equals the square root of cosine of 4x. So the very first thing I'm going to do is just rewrite this. So square root's the same thing as 1/2 power. Okay, this one's kind of a doozy because we have a function inside of a function inside of a function, which means we do the chain rule twice. But I don't want you to be intimidated by this. It's not as bad as it sounds. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is find the derivative of cosine of 4x. So cosine of 4x, we need the chain rule. So we find the derivative of the inside. Actually, derivative of y is dy dx. Okay, so now we're doing derivative of cosine of 4x. Derivative of the inside is just 4. And the derivative of cosine is negative sine of 4x. So the derivative of the inside is negative 4 sine of 4x. Okay, times derivative of the outside. So you have to cover up the inside, and remember what you do is you put the 1/2 in the front, and then you subtract 1. When you do that, you get 1/2. When you subtract 1, you get negative 1/2 here. And then it's just cosine of 4x. So now let's put this together so it looks nicer. So we get negative 4 sine of 4x in the numerator, and then 1/2 means we have 2 on the bottom. And since this is a negative exponent, that means we put this whole thing on the bottom. 1/2. Okay, if you want to simplify this, you can, but I would accept the answer like that. But simplified, you would get negative 2 sine of 4x over cosine of 4x to the 1/2, which, don't forget, that's the same thing as square root. Okay, so now that's it for explicit functions.